I think that every human being wants to belong. I'm proud that I'm from Kaneohe. I'm proud that I'm just a local boy that, grew up riding my bike around town and, being a goof, and I'm proud of that. For someone experiencing homelessness, there's that sense of not belonging. How can you feel like you belong when no one will help you? I was classically trained, so to speak, as a law enforcement officer in 2002. We had a very dominance-driven training. I was very successful at it. I was able to win Detective of the Year for my work in Narcotics Vice Division. And it was from that hard-nosed, very impersonal policing. So at the time, I was assigned to the downtown Chinatown area, and I was given the instructions to clear out the homeless encampments. And I did it in the classic way, which is we round up a bunch of officers and we do this zero-tolerance enforcement where we're not there to understand why you're there. All we're there to do is make sure you're not there. I just remember watching the people being ushered along, and it's like right out of a movie, right? Where you just see like the village burning and you're like, what the heck are we doing out here? I remember sitting down in the locker room afterwards and just being torn right between told that I was doing a good job and not feeling like I did a good job. And that's where I think the way that I was raised started to conflict with the responsibilities I had as an officer. Instead of fighting with myself, I just thought, you know what, I'm gonna make a difference, and I'm gonna change the way that we approach this issue. And it's one of those things, as as a Native Hawaiian, is that we're just not raised to be impersonal. We're not raised to not care about the people around us. And that goes to the value here in Hawaii of Kuleana. Kuleana is a belief that everyone matters and everyone has a role in the community. So we made a change. We created the HELP program, which paired plainclothes officers and social workers. We were able to help so many people that we actually began to max out the shelters, creating the need for our HONU program. The HONU program is a mobile navigation center. When shelters fill up and people have nowhere to go, we'd fill that need. Otherwise, they would just be left in the street, and it's just not acceptable. There's a lot of people that challenged my ideology, they challenged my commitment to law enforcement, and I really hit a point where I was thinking maybe I should just let it go. Christmas 2019, when we had opened our doors, there were 2 families there with young children. I remember leaning on the security fence and watching the kids play and thinking, if I never made this program, they would have spent Christmas on a sidewalk somewhere. For me, seeing that, it made it all worth it. Because of these programs that I have built, I was actually asked to train the next generation of officers.
Class! Good afternoon, Major Lambert! Class! Good afternoon, Major Lambert!
In all the assignments I've ever had, I've never felt such a gravity. The Kuleana to build the next generation of officers, to ingrain them with a logic that's open-minded and recognizes that law enforcement will change and progress over time. Recruits need to understand their Kuleana in the community is to help people. Whatever that ends up being, don't be afraid to do it. The HONU is actually a visual representation of the change in ideology. It's the only program in the nation of 18,000 law enforcement agencies that is managed by officers to help the unsheltered community in their area. It goes to show that even in the middle of the Pacific, we can create innovative ideas for very complex issues. One of the motivations for me to tackle these difficult challenges is that I'm raising my children here. I hope that my kids will give the same effort to embrace that sense of commitment to the community in a way in which they understand that they have a value and a responsibility to those around them. When we truly embrace our Kuleana and our commitment to others, that's when we feel like we belong.